So guys, yesterday we have seen a couple of examples on a methods, right? How can I create a method and how can we call the method in a different places? How to add a return statement to a particular method? All these examples we discussed in the yesterday's session. If you clearly observe that, so we created a method and we called a particular method and we used this. So usually in the real world, whenever you are working on your projects, you will be creating a customized methods as per the project needs, nothing more than that. Basically, as per the project needs, you are going to create a method and you are going to call the method. One thing that I need to remember you guys is, as of now we are calling the information in a two different classes itself. It's not a single class wherein which we are calling down that information. So one class contains the methods and in another class you are calling down that information. That's not going to be the case in a real world. In the real world, we are going to maintain the things within a single class itself. Each and every information will be placed in a single class. Even we do have an option to do that particular things. Like I can create methods and calling those methods in one class itself. Okay, I can do that particular piece within a single class. That's fine. How are we going to deal with it? We'll see it moving ahead with a bunch of examples. Today, I want to start with some examples on, okay, some examples on an operators followed by a conditional statements. Okay, conditional statements I want to explain. So what exactly this operators are? So in the real world we are going to use these operators a lot. If you remember, in order to add the two numbers we used a plus, in order to perform a subtraction we use a minus. So these are the generic operators which we know, right? Let's see a high level overview on these operators so that we can easily understand the significance of individual operations. Whenever you want to perform addition of multiple things, you can use a plus. This operator is used for addition, which can add multiple values. Okay, and another thing which you need to consider here is this addition will be carried out on a primitive data types itself. You know, primitive data type means it will hold one value. So the point is, I can add integer plus integer. The outcome is an integer itself. Here, this is a single value and this is a single value. Both the single values you are adding and combining it into another single value. The next operation is a subtraction. Even this subtraction is used to remove one value from another value. Like a minus b, the value present in a b will be removed from a and the outcome will be stored in a left hand side. Like, int c equal to a minus b. What it will happen? Assume that your a value is 10 and your b value is 1, then the outcome for this particular one is a 9. So the reason is, whatever the value present in a b, which is a right hand side, that will be subtracted from the left hand side and the outcome will be stored inside this variable. Okay, a and a b subtraction basically. So this will work from right hand side to the left hand side and the value will be stored in a left hand side itself. This is about a subtraction. And the another one is a multiplication. So A star B, 2 star 2. The outcome is a 4, right? 2 star 2. The outcome is a 4 basically. So multiply the two different numbers and it will show. See guys, the simple thing is these operators, whatever we can see on a calculator, these are one and the same. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, all the operations, whatever we can see on a calculator, these are one and the same itself. Okay, cool. And then division and as well as a module is also one and the same. And then we are going to use plus plus increment. So what exactly this increment means? Assume that I used a b plus plus. it will increment the value by 1. And for this increment, there is a logic basically, that is a pre-increment and as well as a post-increment. See here, plus plus I or I plus plus. There is a difference between this increment, basically a pre-increment and as well as a post-increment. I'll show you this concept with an example. The pre-increment and as well as a post-increment, I will show you with an example. And now the same way, minus minus we can treat it as a decrement. And even for this decrement also, there is a pre-decrement and as well as a post-decrement also. That's fine. Among all these things, I just want to start with an example of this increment and as well as a decrement. So here, I'm right clicking on my SRC package. Okay, I'm just performing a right click operation on my SRC. Go to new and choose a Java class as an option. Let it load. It's taking a minute to load it. New Java class. And here I'm giving a name as operators. And here I don't want to create or call it in a separate class, hence I am maintaining in this method itself. And here it is asking me the package name, and by default it is considering that particular package. I don't want to go that the package. I'm giving a new package name as a scripts. It will check whether that package is there or not. If that package is not there, it will create a new package for us. And click on a finish button. So whenever you clicked on a finish button, a new package inside which a new class is getting created. This is another way how to create a package and a class. You don't need to create a package ahead. At the time of creating a class itself, you can specify the package name. Automatically, that package will be created. And now here, I equal to 1. Okay. Int I equal to 1. System.out.println I plus plus. Let me print plus plus I. Sorry. So the first one is a pre-increment. Plus plus I. I just want to print it out. Okay. So I just want to show you an example how exactly the pre-increment and as well as a post-increment in Java will depends. Okay, so here once it is getting okay, now system.out.println, let me run my test script. Run as a Java application. So let it load. Okay, run as a Java application. It's taking a minute, for the first time whenever we are trying to execute it. Let it wait. Yeah, it's having some sync issues. Yeah, let me run my scripts. So the plus plus means pre-increment. So pre, I have defined my I value as a 1, but the outcome it got printed as a 2. So then what is this a pre-increment concept? So value is incremented first and then result is updated later. Result is computed. Okay, so with this pre-increment, basically it will perform an increment operation first. So what exactly the increment will do? Plus plus, as I have mentioned, it will increment the value by 1. Whatever the variable you are defining, it will increment that variable value by 1. So I plus plus or plus plus I, the meaning is I plus 1. That's going to increment the I value by 1. The only thing is pre or a post will define before performing the operation, it will increment the value. After performing the operation, it will increment the value. That's it. Now, this is the one thing, right? Now, system.out.println I plus plus. So I just, tweak this particular one to an I++ and I'm executing it. When I run my test script in this situation, this is a printing one first. The reason is it is printing the value first and then it is incrementing. The post increment means it will perform the operation like value used first and then perform the increment operation. Okay, perform the increment operation. So that's the thing, depending on your need you can use either a pre-increment or a post increment, but the ultimate point out over here is pre means before performing that operation first the value will be incremented and then perform the operation, and the post increment means first it will perform operation and then it will perform that increment operation. That's what the difference we have observed here. So whenever I use it this plus plus I, the outcome it's printing is output is 2. Whereas here in this case, the output is 1 itself. The reason is it's printing first and then it's incrementing the value. Okay, system dot out dot println I. Okay, that's the thing. So this is the way how exactly we can use this one. So guys, if you clearly observe in this situation, I'm doing a post increment. Once after doing a post increment, I'm just printing my I value. So whenever I have a printed initially as per the post increment, what it should do, it should print the value or it should perform the operation. That's the reason the initial I value is 1, it printed it, and later it will perform the increment operation. To cross check whether it got incremented or not, I just used a system.out.println of I. After perform this operation, it incremented the I value, hence the I value it returned as a true, as a 2 basically. Okay, output will be 2. This is the thing basically. Okay, this is all about a pre-increment and as well as a post-increment. The similar logic will be applicable for a decrement as well. The pre-decrement and as well as a post-decrement, the logic is one and the same. If you see pre means increment operator followed by a variable, then it will increment it and then it will perform the operation. Post means a variable followed by an increment operator, it will perform the desired activity first and later it will perform that operation, either increment or a decrement. This is all about a pre-increment, post-increment, and as well as a pre-decrement and as well as a post-decrement, guys. Okay, cool. And then the another thing which we will be using here in order to check the comparisons of two strings and all those things, we are going to use a double equal to, which means equals to. Okay, check whether the value is equal in the two variables or not. For suppose I can define int a equal to 10, int b equal to 20, int b equal to 20. So here system.out.println. Okay, so in this line the b is missing, so b. And here what I'm doing means a is equal to b. I'm just printing down that value. I'm not doing any other operation. As I have a consider that equal to will check whether the value present in the two variables is equal or not. When I run my script as a Java application, the outcome for this one is a false. I'm commenting that earlier logics now. So I just used only the println for this equals to. When I run my JavaScript, the outcome is a false. So the meaning is if the two values are equal, the outcome from this equals method is either a true or a false. If the outcome is equal, then it will print true. If both are same, if both are not same, then it will return a false. See, in the current situation, A is a 10 and B is a 20. Both are not equal. Hence, it returned as a false. Now, I changed my A value 20 and a B value 20. Both are equal. When I execute my script, the system.out.println is just printing the outcome, the boolean value, which is either a true or a false to the console. Okay, equals to is a double equal to we are going to use, which will check whether the two things are equal or not. Good. And the next one is not exclamatory followed by an equal to. We can consider it as a not equals to. Okay, we can consider this one as an not equals to. The meaning with this particular not equals to is if both are not equal, then print true, else print false. Okay, the return type is a false for that. So here in the current situation, let me comment at this line. And in the current situation, A is a 200, B is a 20. So A is not equal to B. It's true, right? The value present in a and a B both are not equal. That's what I am asking it to verify. As the both values are not equal, hence it returned the outcome as a true. For suppose if the value present in a is a 20 and a B is a 20, both are equal, and this condition is saying that both are not equal. It is a false. Hence, when I run my test script, this time it will return the outcome as a false itself. Good. And the next operator we will be using here is greater than, or we are going to use a greater than. Okay, it will be used on certain numbers, basically I can say whether something is greater or not. In order to compare that, we are using this greater than, and less than is also used on a specific operators to check whether it is less than a specified value or not. Like I can say here, like system.out.println A is greater than B. So the value present in a variable should be greater than a B variable. If this outcome, if that value is greater, then it will print a true, else it will print a false. As of now, I'm just changing my A value as a 200. Now, when I run my script as a Java application, the A is greater than 2, the condition outcome is printed to the console. For suppose if A is less than a B, so the outcome is a false. A is not a big, B is a big. So when I run my test script at this time, it will show a message that this outcome is a false. Like A is not a greater than B. Okay, like A is not a greater than B. And one more thing is here, there is another operation which you can perform along with the greater. We can use a equal to also. The condition what I am checking is check whether A is greater than or equal to B. Either the things greater than or equal to B, both the things will satisfy. So when I run my test script, in the current situation, my A value is equal to B. There is a criteria that equal to is there. Hence, the outcome is a true from this. Okay, A greater than or equal to B, the outcome is a true from this. Good. The same way how we have used an increment, the same way we need to use a decrement also. Int C equal to 10, int D is equal to, sorry, we studied about a greater than. The similar way we need to study about less than also. The quite opposite thing, system.out.println, C is less than D. The value present in a C is less the value present in a D. Yes, of course. C is a 10 and D is a 20. This condition is a true. When I run my test script, the outcome it will print is a true itself. Okay, so the C is 30 and D is a 20. My C is a greater, and we are checking that the C is less than D. The condition is a false. So when I run my test script as a Java application, it will return the outcome as a false. The same kind of a logic equals to will be applied here also, whether it will check whether it is less than or equal to. If it is equal to, then it will return as a true. Less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. That's it. That's another thing which you people need to consider. Good. And the next point that needs to be considered here is the logical operators. So the various logical operators, whatever we have are and. Let me switch back to the documents. So we are going to use AND logical operator. We are going to use a logical operator OR and even a NOT. AND means both the conditions should satisfy. Okay, both the conditions should satisfy. OR means any one condition should satisfy. Okay, or means anyone should condition satisfy. Not means we have already studied earlier. So how does it's going to work means, let me show you an example for this end. Okay, so we already have A and B and C and D. So here system.out.println A greater than or equal to B. The outcome is a true itself. A is equal to B, right? And C less than or equal to D. So even this condition is true. So the outcome for this A greater than or equal to B is true. The outcome for this C greater than or equal to D is true. When I run these things, automatically the outcome will be true. Okay, automatically the outcome will be true. How these end operation will work means, let me show you an Excel file. Assume that I'm just working on an Gmail login screen. Assume that you have entered a valid credentials, then your login attempt is a true, right? And if your username is a valid and if your password is valid, then definitely the login is a success, which is a true. True, I'm referring it as a success, guys. True means a success. False means a login failed. Okay, so here if the username is a invalid and a password is a valid but the login is a failed. If the username is valid and a password is an invalid, even still the login will fail. If both the username is invalid, password is invalid, the login attempt will fail. Right, guys? If you clearly observe this combination here, whatever I have specified, this valid and a valid, the outcome is a valid. So here I can consider now A, B, A and B. If here I'm considering valid as a true, invalid as a false. That's it. So here, if A value is true and B value is true, then the outcome from A and B is true. If A value is a false and a B value is true, the outcome is a false. If A value is a true and a B value is a false, even the outcome is a false. If A value is a false and a B value is false, the outcome is a false here. So it means here the conditional operator, whatever you are using, and it means both the values is true, then only the outcome will be true. If any one of these things is a false, the outcome from A and B is a false. So here in the current example, whatever I have a consider, A and B, A greater than or equal to B, that's what I have used. C less than or equal to D, I have used C less than or equal to D as a B. So A greater than or equal to B and C less than or equal to D is the condition that I have used in the current example. A, I'm considering one condition, B, I'm considering one condition. The combination of these two conditions, I placed it in this one. Okay, so like this, I have worked on. The similar way, A pipeline B, or we can consider it as a R. The output for this R is if any one is a true, the outcome is a true itself. Okay, if the username or a password, if any one is a true, the outcome is a true. So here in this situation, this one is a true, the outcome is a true. This one is a true, the outcome is a true. Like that, the A and the B logical operators will work. Okay, like this, the A and B logical operators will work. Good. Is this point clear for you guys, how these logical operators will work, or do you have any questions for me? So if I can modify this one, instead of A and B, I can use a simple pipelines in order to validate this piece. This is the whole thing, how exactly we can verify the logical operators. So immediately a quick question will rise in our mind, why we have studied these logical operators means we are going to use these logical operators in the real world. Okay, so I'm going to use these logical operators in the real world. That's the reason even we studied about these logical operators now. All these operators we are going to study in the real world. That's the reason we studied about these operators. Good. So before jumping on to the next concept, which is a conditional statements, am I clear for you all till now, or any questions are there for me? You can unmute yourself and do let me know if you have any questions for me, guys. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, we haven't studied anything about a strings as of now. So we will study strings. Yes. Yes, it's equals to is for strings, which we are going to study maybe in the next session. Okay. We haven't studied anything about a strings as of now. So we will study examples of a strings in a tomorrow's class where I will be explaining about the equals to concepts. Okay. Cool. Done the deal. So considering your silence as you all are good, so switching to the next concept here, which is a conditional statements. So what exactly this conditional statements are? I want to verify certain conditions using a Java program. In order to achieve these conditional statements, we have a if else, and even switch is used in order to validate certain conditions in Java. Okay, conditional statements are specifically used to validate the conditional logics basically. Okay, conditional logics like if login is displayed or not. Okay, how this login, if the inbox page is displayed, what exactly the condition I want to do. If the login is not success, what exactly the logic I want to use. All these are kind of a things we are going to specify within these conditional statements itself. Okay, the outcome of these conditional statements, the outcome of these if and else, basically, let's switch into the next line. The outcome for this conditional statements if else is either a true or a false. True means condition satisfied. Whatever the condition you have mentioned, it's satisfied. False means a condition not satisfied. Okay, true and a false means basically condition is satisfied and a condition is not satisfied. Okay, so if you can consider the pictorial representation for this one, how the conditional statements looks like means basically, you know, here is a conditional block. Assume that here is your conditional block. Conditional block, the condition is there, and if this condition is true, some set of a logic will be executed. If this condition is a false, some other set of a logic will be executed. If this condition outcome is a false, some set of a logic will be executed. If some condition, the outcome from this condition is a true, another set of a logic will be executed. An example here is the condition I have given is a greater than b. You know, a is a 5, B is a 3. So here in this situation, the A value is greater than B. Hence, as this a condition outcome is a true, it will pick this path in the current example. Whatever we have defined in the next step, of course, it will be executing that particular thing itself. But this is the way how the conditional block will work. Anyways, we will see this a conditional block with an example now in our Eclipse editor. So let's go back here. I'm creating a new script, new Java class, conditional blocks, and I'm creating a main method for that. So here, in order to verify the condition, I'm just using the integer itself, int a equal to 5, int b equal to 3. I have defined that. As we are using if as a conditional things, basically we need to mention if followed by a condition. So I'm just writing down the syntax for this if, guys. If you need to specify followed by a condition present in a if. If this condition is true, you need to open a braces and the logic present in this block will be executed. So you need to maintain it as a statement 1, statement 2, something like that. You just need to maintain it. Okay. If this condition defined in the braces is true, then the logic present in this conditional block will be executed. So how it's going to looks like means if the condition a greater than b, the outcome is either true or false itself, right? If a is a greater than b, it will return a true. If a is not greater than b, the outcome from this a greater than b is a false itself. So that's what my condition is. Open braces. So the logic present in the if block will be executed whenever this condition is a true. System.out.println. Here a is a big. I'm printing to the console. See here in this current situation, in order to explain this conditional blocks and every logic, I'm just using a printing statement. Moving ahead, whenever you are using in a real world, you will be using some meaningful logic inside that. So here, a greater than b or a is a big logic got a printed to the console. For suppose I'm changing my values as a b to 13 and a as a 5. So the outcome from this A greater than B is a false in this situation. Whenever the outcome from this A greater than B is a false, for this if it's going to go as a false. Whenever the false it's going as an input to an if, it won't execute the condition present in this. So it will skip it. So when I run my test script as a Java application, see nothing is being printed to the console. Okay, nothing is being printed to the console here in this situation. Okay, so what I'm going to do, this is a single condition, and whenever the condition is true, then only the logic present in the if block will be executed, right? Whenever the condition is true, the condition outcome is true, then only logic present in the if block will be executed. Right. For suppose if the condition outcome is a false, then if block A is not executing, we need to add or we need to execute some logic whenever the condition is failed. In such situations, we are going to use an else block in continuation with an if. Else. Else open braces, close the braces, system.out.println b is big. The meaning is if followed by a else block. If the condition is not true, then the logic present in just the else block will be executed. In the current situation, my A value is less than B value. The condition outcome is false. Hence, the logic present in the else block is executed. Okay, hence the logic present in the else block is executed, guys. That's it. That's a simple thing that needs to be considered here if else logic wise. Okay, if and as well as an else. Now this is one condition that I have specified. Let me comment it out. So in the real world, depending on a requirement, we can use logical operators and we can pass multiple conditions in the if block. So if you remember the earlier operators example, so we are using a AND operator here and we are using A, B, C, D conditions, right? The same condition I can use it here also. For suppose I have already defined A, B int C equal to 10. Assume that A, B, C are the three different values. If A greater than B and A greater than C. So I'm specifying that if the value present in a variable is greater than B and also A is greater than C, there are three values. Out of these three values, if A is greater than B and greater than C, I can call it A is a bigger value. Else, here we used else earlier and directly we ended up the logic. Now in continuation with the else block, I'm using an if B is greater than A and B is greater than C. If the value present in a B is greater than A and as well as a greater than C, I can consider B is a bigger value. Else, if C is greater than A and C is greater than B. System.out.println C is a bigger value. So here guys, I just used a multiple conditional statements within an if using the logical operator that we have studied a minute before. And I'm specifying two conditions. Not only the two conditions, I can use an AND operator and I can add multiple conditions here. It's not restricting that you need to specify these many conditions. You can create multiple conditions here in this particular block. Okay, and in the current situation, manually if I cross check, A is a 5, B is 13, C is a 10. When I run my test script, my B value is a bigger value when I check it manually. When I run my test script, even my Java class should print B as a 13. For suppose I changed my A value as a 15, out of A, B and a C, my A value is a 15, which is a bigger value. When I run my test script, A is bigger should print. And if I change my A C value to 100 this time, and when I run my test script, I know my C is a bigger value. And when I run my test script this time, C is a bigger outcome get it printed to the console. So as per the needs, as per the values, whatever we have passed, this logic is tweaking basically. It's just executing as per the inputs, whatever we have given, and it's just executing that logic accordingly. Good. Done the deal. Okay. Is this point clear for you guys? Or any questions? Guys, Payal, Arul, Ramya, Sahiti, Sahiti, Sarita. Am I clear for you or any questions, guys? Okay. Good. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know so that we can discuss these questions. So this is all about the conditional statements and as well as conditional statements using an if itself. So we haven't studied, conditional statements. We studied if block. We studied about if else, and as well as okay, we studied if else examples and even the various operators we have in Java. So this is the thing that we have studied as part of our today's session. Kids, done the deal. And we have a few more options are there, like just like a switch operation and all those things. I'll show you in the next session. Okay. One small point I want to add here is this is an if else, right? In the real world, what we may do is depending on your project need, we may also use a nested ifs. What exactly a nested if means? Inside an if, there will be an another if you want to, you have to create. Okay, first there will be one if, and inside that if, another if will be there. Okay, how it's going to be means, let me consider a details about a person. Int age of a person is 20. Int uh, height of that person is 5'6". So I'm just giving as an integer itself of 5'6". If okay, if age is greater than 18, system dot out dot println elder person. Once he is an elder person, then what we need to do, if height is greater than 45 or height is greater than 5. Okay, if height is greater than 5, system dot out dot println height is up to the mark. Else system dot out dot println person should do some exercise to increase his height. So I have just defined this thing as an example. So if you clearly observe, whenever this first condition is true, then only the internal if condition will be executed. Inside an if, there is an another if. So the first condition is true, then only the second condition will be true. Else system dot out dot println person is not eligible for this application. Just I'm just giving a message. So when I run my script at this time, run as a Java application, as of now my person age is 20, which is greater than 80. Then it will go into the first if block, it will print this message, and then it will check whether his height is greater than 50. Then it will print the message. As these two conditions are uh, true, basically, as per my console, it should print elder person and height is up to the mark. Both the messages will be printed when I run my script. And if you observe the console, height is up to the mark. For suppose if this height is a 45, this guy age is a 20. As this guy age is a 20, it will move into the if block. And inside the if block, the height is not greater than 50. Hence, he will be moving into an else block. And the logic present in the else block is person should do some exercises. So when I run my script as a Java application, this time elder person should do some exercises. For suppose if this guy age is directly 16, so this if condition outcome is a false, directly he will go into an else block and the logic present in the else block will be executed. So this is a nested if. So nested if means inside a if there is an another if you need to specify. As per the project needs, you are going to specify these nested ifs. Okay, as per the project needs, you are going to create these nested ifs. That's it. But this is all about if blocks. Am I clear for you guys, or any questions for me on this nested if? Gets. Considering your silence as you are good so far. Okay, so the only thing that you need to do is go ahead and practice these concepts from your end and then come up with the questions. Okay, just go ahead and practice all these things and let's come up with the questions. If you have any, then we will discuss all those things from our end. Okay, cool. So that's all I have for today. Okay, guys, let's see you again in the tomorrow session. Thank you very much.